Welcome. I am Crime Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we say, let there be light, and there was light, because we are hinging onto the famous words of the said God of Genesis, the God who is the orchestrator of all things, the mother of all living, Mother Eve. Yes, we have been told a story that had been one. We have heard the story one way, and the other thing that we have always learned about is that there's always at least two sides to a story. Now, in my understanding, I think there are four sides to a story. There may even be 8 sides to a story because we are looking at the number 8 in particular. It's like 8 is completion, of course. It is infinite, that infinite number. That number that also equals set. Like, of course, that it's like a pattern. It's that's which sets everything into whatever is. And so when we look at numbers, for instance, or we're looking at a story, and we say, of course, a story can't really have just one side. In essence, when we look at a story building, do we say it's one floor, one ground is a story building? No. It would not be a story building. It's just a building. There are no stories to it. So we say a 2-story building, a 3-story building, and so on, of course. Now, if we go that way, we could say a 100-story building. Yes, I get it. But what about that set number? That number we in the scriptures, because everything is scripturally based in a sense. The people who are doing, say, 100-story building, they probably just coming back to this number 1. It is that they say it's a tower. Now it becomes a tower. It takes on the shape of number 1. Yes. Now, that's interesting too. Okay. Now, that's the thing here. I began to say something, and I think Mother Eve is taking over, and rightly so, because sometimes I'm not quite sure where I'm going, but I do ask for her intervention. I do ask for her guidance, and I'm also calling on revelation and waters for waters, particularly for transparency in what we are saying. We like to believe that we are being very transparent here, and of course, because that is how we are able to walk together in harmony, grow together. Okay, so back to the stories. We are believing that Mother Eve, of course, which I say I've already discovered, I've said, she's the said God. Let's rewrite this. My fingers keep and she is the said God. When we do the numerical value for the said God comes to 5. So it's SAID and GOD. So 1 is 6 and 1 is 8. Again, we are talking about 8, meaning the God number. And when we add this together is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So we are the 5-star. But we can see in this 5-star, we are talking about, we have the said and we have the God. Okay, so that's Mother Eve. Now, about the stories, really. Now, Mother Eve is really saying, it's like now she is getting a little bit impatient in the sense of time scale. She's calling us home to tell us her side of the story. But it's as if she wants to fast track our journey to her. It's like she's sending you the return ticket, so to speak. She's sending those tickets out, and she's saying, you know, there's no excuse now to not come home. Everything is already paid, like in the story of Christ. It's all paid for. Just come and hear me out. And hearing me out, she's saying, it's time to understand that I have done this journey where you're at. I have been cast to the ground, so to speak. And now it's time for you to take the stage. Of course, the stage is where you will be recognized for all that you have done, for all the talents and gifts that you have been given, to understand that you are indeed light. This is why she said, let there be light. So she wants us to understand the light within us. And that's why we have the story of Christ who says, don't you know you are the light of the earth? And this is what Mother Eve now wants to reveal to us, that we are the light of the earth, but there is a stage that the lights need to be in certain position, and they have to be in that certain position where the projection of that light will be seen in the right place, time, and sequence. So this is what Christ said. It's no good that a light should, or a candle would be under a bushel, or meaning a light, even if you had it under a counter or in a cupboard, or so to speak, it would not be serving its purpose, not to its full potential. So this is why Mother Eve is still calling us, and she's saying that the stage has been set. So the word set, I've just mentioned the word Christ, and it's right here. So the word set is 8. So the stage, S-T-A-G-E. Because what she's reminding us, that we are in a grand stage. It's a stage. Everything is a stage, really. So the stage has, of course, the word age. It also has the word stag. Many people would know like a stag in the sense of one who is a male, who is a sex symbol, so to speak. And of course we have tag. The word tag is also there. And all these are Mother Eve's characteristics, telling us that you have been tagged. And because you have been tagged, your talents as tags is that you have got an act to play. You have got an act to play on that grand stage of life. That grand stage of life is the 5th and 8th dimension. And of course the 8th, when she speaks of the 8th, E-I-G-H-T-H, let's do the numerical value for that, which is 597828. Let's add this up and see what we get. So this is 18, 19, 25. This would be 34, and 5 would be 39. 39, of course, is 3. So 8 is 3. The 8th is 3. So it is an 8 vibration, but we see it has the 3. Now the 3, as I say, is always, there's another thing Mother Eve has told us to do. I just recall, look at the 2 last numbers, she says. Always look at the 2 last numbers, add them up. 5 plus 8 would be 13. Now, I have been talking a lot about the number 13, but let's go back before we get into the number 13. Look at the 8th. 8th equals 39. 3 plus 9 is 12. There we see that this is as above, so below. We are talking about 12 zodiac signs, 12 hours of the day. We see 12 months of the year, 12 disciples, and so on. But this 12 also is that which is set to give a certain vibrational frequency to get us moving into our designated act or our role. So 3, as we say, 3 is that vibration. It is the magic number. We have seen 3 in its role of magnificence. It is that which looks like an E. It is an E. Let's take off the word stage. There is much more to stage, but we have got the essence of stage for now. So 3 is the E, and it is the M, and it is 3, of course, and it is W, which sets the pattern that Mother Eve is asking us to get into. In fact, let's just, so we have the 8-petal flower. It is that which is forms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 8-petal flower. This is where it's the flower of life right here. And when we have this, it's that Mother Eve is saying that's what the stage has been set up for, that you become the 8-petal flower, meaning you become life. You see that life form. It's you get into that incubator where you are set up to play the role, to play your act in life. And of course, it's like the final makeup or final or the topping of a cake. It's the topping of a cake. It's that final the finesse that's been added to what you are becoming. It's like the decoration, it's really, there's the finishing touch. This is it. You are coming into your finishing touch in this dimension of 8 right there. And Mother Eve is saying, and to show the relationship with Mother Eve, who is here to assist us with that finishing touch, where we can become and see ourselves as this beautiful flower, which we can through the eyes of others as well, mainly through the eyes of others, because the 8, in essence, each part of these is like a you here and a you here, and everyone can see or call on to the other as you or W, because they are seeing and being faced with the W. The M here is being faced with the W, because if you are in this position and looking there, you will be seeing a W. Vice versa of these other positions right here. So that's what Mother Eve is really asking us to get to that position. Now we can see there's another thing to show the beauty of the numerical values of our vibration, of what Mother Eve wants us to learn, the essence of numerology, to help us understand this. There we have done the numerical value for the word 8, which equals 3, which we can see how 3 takes its shape. But when we add these together, we see we have 13. 13 is that number. 13 is the number that actually, I think I need to get rid of this now. Just doing this, yes. Let's take this off. And 13 is the incubator. We have done this please pen, beta. It's the incubator. Incubator. Okay. So this is 9, and we see the word in, of course, which is beginning and end. Okay. And then we have 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 6, 9. Okay, so this is 15 plus 3 is 18, 19, 20, 26. We have 26 here. Of course, 2 plus 6 is 8, and 9 plus 5 is 14. Let's just do it here. So we see this is 6 plus 4 is 10. We were talking about 10. I think in my previous presentation I've just done. And of course this is 4. Now, we see how we have 4 here. As I say, it equals the incubator, because 1 plus 3, as in the 13 that we just had, equals 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now, so we see how the incubator is really the place where the flower, where the setting happens. The set is actually the incubator. It's another word for that. Now, there is another thing to show that the word 8, E-I-G-H-T, which is 8, and of course if you came across this you would know it's 8, but there's what Mother Eve wants to show us. So this is 9, 7, 8, 2. Again, Mother Eve says to look at the 2 last numbers, which is 7, but we'll leave this 7 here for now and see this as 10, 17, 26 plus 3 is 31. We see that 8 now mirrors the others. It mirrors the 13 that we have been talking about. It mirrors 13. Now the other thing that of course 31 also equals the earth when we do the numerical value for green, which I associate with earth, and blue, which I associate with the sky, the heavens. We see they both come to 4. And of course, this is how we have 8. So when we are actually in 8, it is the setting of heaven and earth right here. Of course, heaven and earth is so correct in that heaven, the word heaven equals 10 and earth equals 7. And when we add 1 plus 7, because of course heaven, let's take this off, just to show the power of 3 right here as well. So heaven, H-E-A-V-E-N, is 8, 5, 1, 4, 5, 5. Okay, adding these together, we have 15, 20, 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. Okay, that's another number I left out on the 1. Okay, 2 plus 8 is 10. So this is 1. Okay, 1 plus 0 is 1. And we have earth, which is also the heart. And so this is 5, 1, 9, 2, 8. We see already we are reflecting on that 2, 8 again. So this is 10, 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. That's what Mother Eve is relating to us about getting our balance, however we get it, whether it was from 28, whether it was from 4 plus 4, or 31, or 13, or the 2 13s, however we got there, Mother Eve is saying the stage is set, because 4 plus 4, this is the 4 for heaven and the 4 for earth. When we do 31 for the green and 13 for blue, we are looking at 8. Mother Eve is calling us home to show us how to do 8. Now, that's why she said, let there be light, and the let, she has got 8 entries. So who better to teach us about eight? And eight actually means eat, to be, to eat, or having ate of something. It's all the same. That's why she says, I have given you the spirit of sound mind. Listen to the words. And all these little variations in pronunciation, which had just been to set you up, to set us up again. It is all part of the set. The word set. Set. That's why she is at the forefront of the word set. So you will set up, or you will set to up, or you will set to fail, whatever how you think it is, it's set. And Mother Eve is right there. 1, 5, 2. So there you are. 7 plus 1 is 8. And this word, the first word of set, is actually found in Genesis of chapter 1, verse 17. When we add 17 together, that equals 8. This is the magic of number 3, showing you how it becomes set, how it is a set. It sets you up. It is a setup. And Mother Eve wants to show us how to understand and digest the essence of that set, because we can't get away from a stage. Now, it reminds me of a movie that I watched a long time ago. It's like someone is being, when they hold a stage with a gun, or there's the term of stage as well, like you have been set up. You have been set up. That means you have not realized your role, or you have gone and done things without realizing that there's a plot. So there's always a plot, and Mother Eve wants to show us how to get ready for that plot, because no matter where we go, there is an act in that game of life that we have to play. So there we were talking about the stage. The stage has been set up. And of course, we have seen the beauty of number 3 as number 8 right here. And the 8 is in the mouth. She is the spokesperson showing us how to swallow, if you like, because the serpent, which is also Mother Eve, in case you are new to this channel, this is what I have been saying. The snake is the serpent is Mother Eve is Satan, Saturn, Christ spirit, the Buddha, the Shiva, Shakti, and the Kundalini, the pineal gland. Mother Eve is all of those, and she is wanting to show us how to swallow, how to partake of this 8, because the mouth is able to do that, but she wants to show us how. Now, she is really saying to us, which I was just listening, just reading, that in the story of Adam and Eve, where it is said that Adam they had eaten of the fruit of good and evil, or of knowledge, and they knew. But it is we see where, of course, where the God said, "Oh, behold, the man hath become like us." So there's a dichotomy in this story. It's as if on one hand, Adam was punished, and his wife, Adam and Eve, was punished. But on the other hand, they were like us. They were gods. So we need to really begin to make sense of how this story has been sold to us. We need to understand that it's the 2 sides. Let's deal with the 2 sides here right now. So they have become like us, meaning they are able to play the game. They understand the knowledge that there is a game being played there, and in those games or the acts or the stage, there are certain rules and moves to be made, and those are in numbers. Those are in numbers, as we see with the said God. There have been stages, again the word stage, and now we are being warned that we are on the 8th stage. So the 8th stage is the us. We see we have done the number 31, for instance, and us is 31. So we are on earth 31. To look at this direct, we are on the earth stage, the 8th stage, on the earth plane rather, and we are of course moving into the 5th dimension. For some of us, we are already on the 5th dimension. Some of us are getting ready to move on the 5th dimension. So of course 31, let's look at if we do 31, add that together, it becomes the number 4. We see the number 4 is confirmation in the word for that we are of the 6 species of man created on the 6th day. But 31, let's just look at this. I don't think I have done this already. Again, I've just mentioned the 6 species right there. So 31, and I don't think you can see this. Let's try this. THIRTY. 30 actually is 3. I believe that. I've done this. I think let's do this again. 9927. So let's add this up. This is 20. This is 30. 37. So 37 is 10. 10 is 1. So 30 is actually 1. And that reminds me again when Christ, in the story of Jesus Christ, and he started his missionary, his ministry, he was at 30. So that would be 10, where we have masculine and feminine. This is the start. Okay. And 1, of course, we know is 7. Wow. When we do the numerical value for 1, it equals 7. This is 655. Add these together is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So 37, of course, 7 plus 1 is 8. Now, isn't that delicious? That's what Mother Eve is talking about. We see this right here. Mother Eve is talking about that 31 right here. 31 as in the earth. She is saying that there is the 8th dimension. Really now, we are ready. The 8th dimension is here on earth. It is here in this sphere, if you like, but we are needing to get into understanding the dynamics of that earth plane itself, where it is said that the snake was cast to the ground. Talking about the snake cast to the ground, going back to what I was saying, we heard that the snake was Adam and Eve after having ate of the fruit of good and evil, and they heard, Adam said, I heard your footsteps in the mid of the cool, or there's that term. In fact, I think I've got it right here. If I can recall exactly where it is, or perhaps not right now, but Adam and his wife, okay, let's see, okay, oh, okay, and the woman saw that the tree was good. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is it. On 10, we were talking about number 10. I was just talking about number 10. Now, that's where we see that something is about to be, it's a new thing right there. It's a new thing because on 9, which is the number of birthing, this is where, and the Lord God called. Now, the Lord God called, the God of calling, I don't believe is the same as the God of, or the said God in this verse, which I am going to double check. But said unto Adam, where art thou? And this is where Adam now says, I heard thy voice. Now thy voice, thy is actually the number 8, meaning I heard 8 voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Now, I know numerology can give us much more insight to this, but there we are seeing that this is where it is said that Adam was afraid, and he said, but he said, and no one is saying who this he said is now. This is the thing. It's not saying, and God said, or the Lord God said right now, but who told you that thou was naked? Now, this is the beauty, we could say, or cunning thing that has been done in the scriptures as well. To say, and he said, is always giving or allowing room for discrepancy. So you, the individual who's reading, is now looking for your own internal representation. Who told you? Okay, so, and he said, he actually is 13 or 31, is or 4, however we want to term this. Okay. Hast thou eaten of the tree? So basically, we are basically, as I saw before, the person or the God who had told Adam not to eat of the fruit, it really wasn't the said God. It was the said God who actually said to Eve, behold, I have given you all fruit bearing seed. It's like reminding them, don't worry about what the other God has said, or I know what the other God have said, but remember, no matter what happens, you have an abundance of all what I have given you. Just remember, I have given you. So it may seem like you are without right now, but I have given you. So that's really important for us to remember. And this is the part on 10. I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid. In fact, this is not even the part that I really wanted. And he said, who art thou? Okay, but it's where it is said, it's as if the story is repeated again. And I heard God's footstep in the cool of the day. That's the point I wanted to really touch on, which I will on another presentation. It was that Adam was hearing God in the garden in the cool of the day. Now that is showing us the serpent's character, or the snake's character, because when it is hot, the snake is really not so the snake is kind of shielding itself from extreme heat, from what I can recall. And it is when it is cool, you would hear it, especially on the dry leaves, would be wrestling against the dry leaves, and that would be the serpent now in the cool of the day, enjoying the garden in the cool of the day. So there's what because one would really, if you read this, you would be wondering, well, what relationship has that really got to with God calling? Oh, it seemed like not terribly necessary, but it's indicative of who is actually or the nature of the God who is walking or taking his cool walk. That's it, which is the serpent. So again, we need to understand the different gods, because we had 14 gods. Which of the gods had said to Adam, of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, ye shall not touch it or eat of it, although this is written quite in a subtle way, which could also be interpreted, you shall note of it, because the E is actually with the word eat, but in numerical values, how the words are, it would mean the same. You shall note of it. Okay. So basically, we have seen the beauty of number 8 and number 3 right here. And we also, with the number 5, just drawing on 5 as it were the mouth, because it's saying, let there be lights. This light would be to be in the heavens and to give light upon the earth. So basically, we are talking about balance of light, as above, so below. This is what Mother Eve is about in the in number 5, to have the lights above and on the earth. And we can see that is why the 5 has both characteristics of male and female. It has a sort of hard line on top, and of course the bottom part is curved. But basic in this sense, we see that as the 5 in itself, that the male, the divine masculine, have been that which we heard, that have been playing around, we could say, with for the past say the last 7,000 years. We don't know for sure, but in our world, in our experience, that is what we are seeing. This is the masculine, divine masculine, have been at the head, but now Mother Eve is saying to turn that 5 over, basically turn the so the 5 is like this, but now this is why she's saying count backwards, and I want you to see the other side of the coin. So it would really be something like, well, so it's the S, turn it over, so there would be a foundation like this, and now the divine feminine would be doing her thing. Of course, that's the stage. That's the stage. Okay. So I hope you have found this insightful to some extent of understanding how the numbers really work. So if you see 3, for instance, you can ask yourself, well, what does that mean to me? Or what 8-petal flower am I meant to be a part of right now? Because whatever we see, remember, it's a projection of who we are, or a representation, or a message, or reflection, or something very much to do with us. We can make a choice to accept or reject, but it is a message. It is presenting something. So of course, 3, as we see, it's also number 8. Thank you for watching.